Today we're going to talk about, is running cross country the ultimate base builder if you want to dominate in the sprints? Spoiler alert, it's not. In fact, it's probably one of the worst things you can do. And today we're going to talk about it. Sprinters are like cheetahs. They're like cats. They're like high explosive animals. They're like Ferraris. They're not built to be ran. They're used for explosive events. And yet every fall I have sprinters from the 1, the 2, the 4, long jumpers, pole vaulters, hurdlers who do cross country as if it's going to help them in their sprints when the track season comes around. So in this video, we're going to tackle the physiological mismatches that come with running cross country and while trying to do sprints. We're going to talk about the mechanisms, the central nervous system, and also the running mechanics. We're going to talk about the injury risk, and then at the end, I'm going to tell you what better alternatives that can help you run faster without running marathons up and down hills. So first, we're going to talk about the physiological mismatches that come sprinters versus distance runners. Now, sprinters, like I said earlier, are built like cheetahs. They're built like Ferraris. Okay, you don't take your Ferrari out and do a test run to see if you can make it from California to New York in a Ferrari. Right? You need a more endurance type of vehicle for that situation. It's the same with sprinters. As a sprinter, we thrive on fast twitch muscle fibers. They call them 2X or just double 2 muscle fibers. These are the fast twitch fibers. Okay, so these are the fibers that you use to jump. These are the fibers you use to accelerate and to sprint or do any kind of dynamic movement. On the other hand, cross country runners, they thrive on the slower twitch muscles. Okay, and this is not to say that cross country runners run slow. They actually run very fast for their respective event, and they simply just contradict each other. And no part of a sprint, run, or workout mimics a cross country race, and no part of a cross country race mimics a sprint workout. So that alone should give pause to whether you should be doing this or not if you want to run as fast as you can when the actual track season comes around. And even for 400-meter runners, that's an argument I hear a lot. Well, if you run the 400, you should build your endurance. Yes, you do need endurance, but you need more speed endurance versus the endurance to get you through a 3K or a 5K. And you definitely need your fast twitch fibers and speed because a 400 is a sprint. And a lot of times a good marker for someone who can run a good 400 is they have to run a good 100 or 200 to give you a good idea of what they can run in the 400, which just strengthens the case that the 400 runner, yes, they do need endurance, but they also need speed as well. And cross country does not provide you speed in the context of being able to go all out. Once you get past the 1500, you get into what we call pacing. You're not going all out. You have to reserve yourself. You're on a step count, like a cadence, and you're kind of, I want to say mumbling along, but you're not going very fast, and then you have a kick at the end. Versus the 400, it's all out. You get out strong, you maybe float a little bit on the back end, but the point is you need to be very fast to get around the track. Now, let's talk about the run mechanics. So another one that's very different is the run mechanics. And again, it goes back to the ultimate overarching point that they're just different events, works different nervous system. Everything about it is different. And not to say one is better than the other. It's just if you're trying to maximize your speed as a sprinter, you want to work on the fast twitch fibers and the similar mechanisms that happen in sprinting. So if cross country has some of those, then you can make a case to run cross country during your preseason to get ready for the track season to run, let's say, the 100 or 200. But because they are so opposed to each other, it doesn't make sense. Similarly to like a cross country runner, I wouldn't tell a cross country guy, hey, you need to be getting your speed work up, you need to be doing your plyometrics, lifting heavy. I mean, just visually, if you look at a cross country guy versus a sprinter, anatomically, they just look different. I keep harping on the same point, but it's a different event, different body type, different mechanics, different nervous system. Everything about it is different. So let's continue on. Run mechanics, okay, and central nervous system, all right? So cross country, doesn't just build the wrong muscles, because again we talk about fast twitch and slow twitch fibers. So cross country builds slow twitch fibers, which goes against what a sprinter would want to build, which is fast twitch fibers. So that alone should make you consider, okay, do I really want to work against myself as I'm preparing for the season? A second point is the central nervous system. So the central nervous system, I mean, all our actions start in the brain, but the central nervous system is very important when it comes to sprinting because a lot of it is reactivity, explosiveness, not spending too much time on the ground. Whereas cross country is a lot slower pace, and you know this if you've ever been to a cross country race. So you're in a way confusing your central nervous system by doing a lot of mundane, a lot of miles, tempo stuff, and working slower twitch fibers. And then you come during the season to get your sprinting in, and now it's a learning curve because you have to essentially unlearn in a way that you have to transform all your slow twitch fibers back into fast twitch fibers to be able to prepare you and get you through the sprint season if you are in fact a sprinter. So slow running ruins your sprint mechanics and it confuses the nervous system. So sprinting is about vertical force. So you're in a way punching the ground hard and fast for propulsion, whereas cross country is long, slower runs, it's more of a shuffle. You reduce the balance and elasticity that comes with sprinting. So over time, your central nervous system, which governs your speed and your reactivity, gets wired for endurance and not to be explosive. It gets wired for more slow-paced shuffles and not for explosive dynamic movements. And coming from a guy, Ryan Dukes, his high school coaches, he always talks about, please stop trying to convince your sprinters and hurdlers that running a 4-month cross country season is good for them because it will get them in shape. Like, it gets you in shape, but it gets you in shape for the wrong event. And again, I don't want to say that cross country is bad. Like, if you're a cross country runner or a distance runner, yes, do cross country. Right now, I'm talking to the sprinters. If you're a 100-meter guy, 200-meter guy, a long jumper, triple jumper, anything that is explosive or dynamic in nature, for you to be trained a different nervous system and a different muscle group just doesn't make sense. And on top of that, yeah, because we'll have coaches say, oh, it builds endurance. And yes, it does build endurance, but you're building endurance in the wrong way for the wrong event. Like if you're training for a 5K, don't expect to be fast at a 100-meter dash because they're two different events. And so, in doing my research, you go back to the fast twitch and slow twitch fibers, okay? Basic. If you do a lot of slow pace stuff, you're working slow twitch fibers. If you do a lot of fast stuff, fast twitch fibers. If you're a 100-meter guy, you want more fast twitch fibers. If you're a distance guy, you want more slow twitch fibers because it prevents you from wearing out. It uses, and go on a molecular level, it uses less oxygen, less energy reserves, so you're able to keep going and maintain your endurance. So essentially, your central nervous system adapts to what you feed it. If you feed it a lot of slow paced stuff, it will get slow. If you feed a lot of fast paced stuff, it will get fast within reason. Of course, there is genetic factors as well, but again, everybody can train their nervous system to be faster or slower. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the injury risk that come with doing cross country versus doing sprinting. Again, and I hate to make it seem like I'm against cross country. It's not the point. They're just very different events. So for cross country, you tend to do a lot of hills, terrains, uneven surfaces, and the amount of force that you are putting into the ground is not the same as if you were a sprinter. So a good example, a sprinter can produce up to 9 times their body weight of force when they are sprinting or accelerating. 9 times the body weight of force, okay? So the only way to prepare a sprinter for that is by literally sprinting. Even the weight room cannot mimic the force output that you get from sprinting. Now, cross country on the other hand, maybe 2 times body weight, maybe 3 if I'm being generous. So not only are you not training the right nervous system, you aren't preparing your body for the high impact that comes with sprinting. And sprinting is a skill. Sprinting is not something you can roll out of bed and just do. It's something you need to practice day in and day out, just like you would your free throws, just like you would your golf swing, just like you would your tennis swing. All this stuff needs to be practiced. So to go from cross country, which you're essentially not training your central nervous system to run fast, you're not training your body for the high impact that is going to come with sprinting, and you're training it to run slower, to absorb a lot of force, and to run on uneven terrains. Again, it's just backwards. No part of cross country is going to help you run faster. So now that we talked about why cross country is bad if you're a sprinter, here are better alternatives. So if you say, okay, you convince me, okay, so cross country is bad, now what? What do I do now to prepare for the season? So here we go. So alternatives to cross country. So let's say, well, I guess it's September, or soon to be September. We're in August now, but soon to be September. So you would have about 4 months to get ready for the track season in May. So here's what you should do. You should do fast stuff, speed stuff, okay? So sprinting 2 times a week. If you can handle it, 3 might be too much, but I would say definitely start with 2. So you can do acceleration work. You can do 20s, 30s, 40s, right? You can do them in flats to stay safe, or you can use spikes if no risk of injury and you're feeling okay and healthy. Another good thing is hill sprints. So hill sprints are great because they reduce the risk of injury, and you can go pretty hard on some hill sprints without necessarily worrying about hurting yourself. Another good thing to work on is your sprint drills. So drills. As the saying goes, repetition is the mother of success. So your A skips, your B skips, your straight leg bounds, your speed bounds, your high knee switches, like all these sprint drills help reinforce the good sprint mechanics that you need to get the most out of every step to run your fastest. So you can already be naturally twitchy and fast, but if you're not putting force into the track at the right time, in the right positions, you're going to be leaving tenths of seconds on the clock. So working on your sprint drills is a great way to not only keep yourself fast, but make sure you're efficient with every step as you're running your 100 or 200, 400, whatever the case may be. Another thing too is getting in the weight room. So lifting heavy, getting strong will help with maintaining the force outputs that you put in sprinting. Again, they do not mimic, well, they do mimic, how do I say it? So getting stronger doesn't necessarily make you a better sprinter, but it does help build the strength and the support you need to be able to sprint and stay healthy as you sprint. Okay, because it's always a good rule of thumb to be strong and not be weak, especially as a sprinter, because it's a lot more demanding on the body. So those are a couple things you can do instead of cross country. And again, make sure you take your time in between each rep. So let's say for the workout, you got 8 times 30-meter sprints. When you do your 30-meter sprints, make sure you take at least 5 to 10 minutes rest. Make sure you're fully recovered before you do your next sprint, so that way you can maximize your speed. Again, so this is about building fast twitch fibers. Now, our body naturally has more slow twitch fibers. So again, this goes back to sprinting being a skill that you need to train. You need to train your body to produce more fast twitch fibers. And fast twitch fibers burn out more quickly, so that's why you need more time to recover, so that you can exert a good amount of effort so that you get the most out of every rep. If you don't give yourself rest, you're essentially doing like an endurance workout, right? You're training the wrong nervous system. You'll be training your slow twitch fibers if you just do your 30s back to back to back to back to back, because obviously you won't be able to make them as fast when you are freshest. And also recommend you timing these to make sure that you are within at least a tenth to 2 tenths to 3 tenths around what you ran from your previous reps, to make sure that you are staying on pace, make sure you're staying fast and fresh. Oh, another point too I forgot to mention, for those, it's just not all about speed work. You can do tempo runs, so like tempo runs, so like 200s, 300s, right? To just get your wind up, to get that endurance up that they talk about. But it's not necessary to run a 5K or a 2K for cross country to get your wind up. Some BP 200s, BP 300s are more than sufficient to give you that lung capacity you will need if you run a longer sprint event. You can go all the way up to 400s or even 500s, but the point is, cross country, running miles up and down hills is not necessary, especially if you're a sprinter. So as sprinters, it's different nervous system that you be training. Cross country trains a different nervous system that does not match sprinting, as well as the uneven terrains, and cross country runners don't tend to lift the same as sprinters. Okay, so again, there's nothing wrong with cross country. If you are a 1500-meter runner, a 3K runner, Cross country, yes, you need to be doing cross country, but as a sprinter, you need to be doing sprint things. So plyometrics, sprints, weight rooms, stadium runs, resisted runs, hill sprints, things of this nature to build those fast twitch fibers and the strength that we need to be explosive and carry ourselves down the track. All right, so using cross country as sprint training builds the wrong muscles. Okay, it ruins your form, increases your risk of injury, and essentially it just wastes your time. The time that you could be used developing your sprint mechanics, your fast twitch fibers, are now being used to build slow twitch fibers. So train like a sprinter to be a sprinter. If you're stuck in cross country, you can modify it or recover it during the postseason. But if you're a sprinter, hit the short sprints. Hit the short sprints. If you are a sprinter, hit the short sprints, live for power, and watch your time drop. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Catch y'all in the next video. Peace.